Chosen Vessels, what's the deal? It's your main man, Druuill, and I'm back at you again with another video. Shout out to the Galactic family, the Chosen Vessels, and Drew Nation. I need everybody to hit that like button, hit that share button, and don't forget to subscribe, because we back at it again. Let's get right into it. Look, they are worried about you so much that they gaslight you and think you're not smart enough to see and feel what they're up to. Let's talk about it. When you are so popular, people are going to be more worried about you than you know. And you never even really took account to even think about it, because number one, popularity is something that never really mattered to you. It never really concerned you. You never saw yourself as popular. You saw yourself as just a regular, normal person, somebody that just was under the radar, somebody that didn't matter, somebody that never mattered, somebody that would never matter. So the fact that, like, the idea of you being popular is so far out, it doesn't even make sense, right? The fact that people would be worried about you, it doesn't even make sense. The type of life that you had, you thought nobody even cared about you. For the longest time, you thought that nobody cared about you. You thought you were invisible. You thought that everything you did was undetected and no one even saw you. Like, honestly, for a long time, I know you guys thought no one even saw you. I know you guys thought that you were just invisible, undetected, low key. You guys really thought that nobody even paid attention to you. You thought that you didn't matter at all. And what you saw was everyone that looked like they were living their life. And when you looked at people, they looked away from you, and no one ever paid attention to you. People would look away from you. People would look at the ceiling. People would look at children. People would look at other people and their kids. People would look at the person next to you, the person on your left, the person on your right, the person behind you. Everyone would look at everyone but you. So for the longest time, you walked around not existing. You didn't think anyone saw you. You didn't think anyone cared about you. You thought that you were just this invisible man or invisible woman, or this person that no one seemed to care about. And you, after a while of it happening and you going through the stages of the loneliness and the being ignored and the being by yourself and the seeming like nobody cared about you, and you just thought you were invisible. You really, for the longest time, you thought that you didn't exist. You thought that no one saw you. You thought that you were invisible. You thought you didn't matter. You thought you didn't care. No one cared about you. You thought there was something wrong with you. You thought you were broken. You thought you were ugly. You thought you was ugly duckling. You thought that was you. You thought you was you didn't think you was ugly. You thought you was ugly. All right, you thought you was ew, you ugly. You thought that was you. You thought you were the worst person in the world. You thought you were the most undeserving person in the world. You thought you were the most person, you thought you were the least person to matter to anyone in the whole entire world. Every time you would go out places, people would look around you, look over you, talk over you, speak over you, look beside you, beneath you, around you, over you, next to you, on the right of you, on the left of you, but not at you. People would act like you didn't even matter. People would act like you didn't exist. People would act like you weren't there. People would act like you weren't even there. From children to teachers to adults to preachers to adults to grown-ups to relatives, people would act like you weren't there. All right? People in college, people would act like you weren't there. Didn't matter who you were around. If you were around them and it was you around them, trust and believe, everybody else got attention. Everybody else got looked at. Everybody else got seen. Everybody else got spoken to. Everybody else got acknowledged. Everybody else got a high five, a hug, a slap, a pat on the back. Everybody else got some love except for you. But when it came to you, you were the only one that nobody treated the same. as everybody else. So it's really far-fetched for you to believe that people are worried about you, isn't it? No one cared about you. People would walk past you and say high five to the person behind you. People would say hello to the person. You say you had a girlfriend. People would speak to your girlfriend and ignore you. Say you're a lady and you had a boyfriend. People would speak to your boyfriend and ignore you. You could be arm in arm with someone, damn near the same person, looking like one whole person, one whole entity, energies combined. They can't help but see you, but they still chose to ignore you and act like you weren't there. Why is that? Why did people act like you weren't there and like you didn't exist? Why did people act like they were more important than you your whole life? Your whole entire life, people disregarded you. Your whole entire life, people played you. Your whole entire life, people made sure that you knew that you didn't matter. They didn't just act like you didn't matter. They made an effort. They made sure that you were aware of the fact that you were not as important as everybody else. They made sure of it. Even as a 5, 6, 7, 10, 12, 14, 15, they made sure that you were aware that you did not matter and that you were not as good as everybody else. And if you had the nerve to even feel like you were as good or even slightly could possibly even amount to what somebody else got going on, they made sure to knock you down the peg and to make sure to acknowledge other people in front of you to make you feel like you were worthless. They made sure that you felt like you were worthless. The one or the you can count on your hand the amount of people who presented you in such a way that made you feel good about yourself. And it's probably not even this many. It's probably like this many. I could remember the amount of people that uplifted me throughout my whole entire life and made sure I actually felt good about myself on the real tip, and it is less than this. It's less than this. It might have actually only been maybe 1 to 2 people. That's it. That's it. And if you're chosen, I know you feel what I'm talking about. I had played football, and there was this man named Coach Kev, and I didn't start. I was probably the weakest person on the team. I was probably the worst person on the team. But physically, I may have been weak, but I had spirit. I had more in me. I was physically weak, but I was undeveloped. So I wasn't even weak. Let's say not. I wasn't weak. I was undeveloped. All right. We're hard on ourselves because we're not perfect. None of us are weak. I wasn't weak. I was undeveloped. All right. And the fact that I was undeveloped, there were people who still saw something in me. And even though I was on the B team, this man, Coach Kev, he saw something in me, and we had to push the sled. I didn't start. I didn't play. I was just there just for the athletics, aesthetics part, just to have something to do. All right, and it was positive, and I thank God for that. That I was doing something positive instead of just sitting around not doing anything, because God only knows what would have happened if I wasn't on that football team. Even though I didn't start, even though I didn't play, even though I was a worm, if I wasn't on that team, the self-esteem that I have today, it might not have been there, and it might not have been developed, and I might not have even felt as good about myself as I'm able to. All right, because people disregard. It might be that one person that says one thing, but that one person that says one thing can do wonders for someone that is suffering from low self-esteem, that is suffering from depression, that is suffering from not being admired, not being acknowledged by their own family, being subliminally put down. You walking in a room, everyone acting like they don't see you, and you're related to all these people. That can do a number on a child's psyche. When you walk in a room and people just, you have to speak first. Adults supposed to be acknowledging you, saying hi to you, but you got to speak first. That can do a lot to a child, but that's how great the power of God is in you. You had grown adults that would ignore you and not even speak to you because they felt the presence of the Lord on you. They felt a strong presence on you as a child, and they wouldn't even acknowledge you. They wouldn't even say hello, hi, how are you? You were a child and had to speak to full-grown adults who were seeking validation from a 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe 3, 4, 5 year old. And they were seeking validation from you at that very young age. And what that taught you was to be a people pleaser. It taught you to acknowledge other people even though you weren't acknowledged, something that an aware person, a grown person, an adult person would never do. Adults who realize that they're not acknowledged, they ignore, they keep the same energy. Let's not say they ignore, but they keep the same energy. If somebody ignores you and act like you don't exist as an adult, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to walk past them and keep it moving. It's love for love once you hit 18. It's love for love once you become 14, 15. It's love for love. For some people, God bless them at 11, 10, 12, 9, 13. They can see it. It's love for love. Yo, I'm treating people how they treat me. They think I'm falling for this. Shout out to the awoke young chosen ones that God is not playing with, because at 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, y'all on the same page as what I'm speaking about right now. But shout out to everybody who's aware, because we all develop, we all evolve, we all learn, we all grow at different stages. So it's no discredit, and it's no love lost to anybody learning this at an early age. But definitely, most importantly, God bless the young ones who are getting this information and who are realizing this at an early age. God bless you. God really loves you. And in this day and age, you're safe and protected because you got brothers and sisters that have already went through what you went through. And God is using us to spread the message to save you, because y'all are the ones, y'all are more of the future than we are. The younger ones, y'all are the ones that need to be protected. The ones like people like me, we're going through it. So hopefully you won't have to go through it. All right, we're going through it. We went through it. We're sharing our story. So hopefully people younger than us will catch hold of this. They'll catch wind of this. God will make a way for them to see this message. So that way they won't have to go through what we went through. And everybody that can resonate with what I'm saying, you know, and you understand. In fact, you know, and you overstand what's being said in this particular video. They are worried about you so much that they have to gaslight you and think you're not smart enough to see it. But you can see and feel what they're up to. You know what people are up to. All right? When you get out into public, you can tell that people are concerned and focused on you. Why every time, or not every time, let's not make assumptions. Let's not be irrational. But most of the time when you go into a store, and people who go into the store in front of you, it seems like they're in a race to get into the store before you. Why does it seem like they're always in front of you before you go to check out? Because when you go to people and be like, hey man, every time I go to the store, it seems like somebody's racing or rushing or trying to beat me in the door. It's like people are in competition with me just to walk in the store. It's weird. And people will be like, oh no, you're seeing things, or oh, that happens to me too. Or you'll have people that will gaslight you because they are worried about you. When people gaslight you, it's because you take up a lot of space in their head, and they're not willing to accept that. They don't have the God in them to accept the fact that they're worried about somebody more than themselves. And they know they're worried about you more than them. And that's why they gaslight you, because if they were to let you know that they were concerned about you the slightest bit, you would be able to figure out the whole entire scheme on a grand scheme. And that's why they have to gaslight you, because you're too smart. If you weren't smart enough, they would be able to just act normal, and they would just pull the wool over your eyes. But you're too smart. So instead of trying to pull the wool over your eyes, they have to come at you like a wolf in sheep's clothing, because you're better than them, you're more intelligent than them, you're more aware than them, you get universal downloads, you have a direct connection to the creator, and they don't. They could only wish that they possessed half of the powers that you have. And that's why they're always following you and watching you and trying to get underneath your skin, because they know you Meteor Man. They know you Superman. They know you Superwoman. All right? They know you Catwoman. I can't do the whole part, but I could do that part. That's all I could do as a man. I can't do no more than that. The masculinity in me won't allow me to do more than that. That's all you get. Okay. You want more than that? Holla at Cardi B. Maybe she could do it. She could do the whole. That's all you get from me. I'm a dude. That's all you get. Okay. But you're supposed to feel like a Superman, like a superwoman. But the thing is, empaths and chosen ones are Superman and Superwomen. But you have people around you that don't want you to see that, because they saw you as Superman, Superwoman before the age of 2, picking up stuff, walking, talking, being smarter than they were at 5 when you were at 1. They're not going to tell you that, hey, you're super smart. Stop looking for people to be like, hey, you're super smart. They're not going to do it. If you have the intuition that you're smart, or there's something different about you, or you're special, or you're better, I'm letting you know right now, confirmation, you're not getting that feeling for no reason. You're better than people and you're smarter than people. Look at Dragon Ball Z. They had Goku, you had Vegeta, you had Goku's children. There were people who had superpowers, and then there was people like the guy who had the afro, who was a wrestler. He was a wannabe. He trained his behind off. He was in shape. He wasn't fat. He could wrestle, but he still couldn't do what Goku, Vegeta and them did. He still couldn't do what even Krillin, little bald behind. He still could, Krillin with no hair. He still couldn't do what Krillin, little bald self could do. His little bald monkey behind self. He still couldn't pull a Krillin, but he was the wrestler. He had fake power. He was the facade man. He was the fake man. He was the wrestler. All right, go back and watch Dragon Ball Z and look at the wrestler and look at Goku and Vegeta. All right, you got dark ones and you got chosen ones. There are chosen ones who are powerful, who use their power for evil. That makes them dark ones. All right, so just because you're chosen and you have power and you're powerful and you're strong, it doesn't mean there aren't dark ones. That's why you have to pray. And that's why you got to be aware. That's why you have to talk to God and ask him for discernment, because you don't want these dark ones, they're in their power. You can't say they're not. These dark ones, they're involved in their dark negative energy. They're praying to those dark forces. They're evoking those dark spirits, those dark energies, and they win it. We got to do the same thing. We should be winning too. Just because they're dark and they're evil doesn't mean they can't be successful. Just because they're dark and they're evil, it don't mean they could be successful. We can be equally as successful, but we don't have to be dark to do it. You got chosen ones thinking they got to go over to the dark side because they don't know how to operate with God. That's the only reason why people turn to the devil, is because they really don't know how God works. When you study God and you know how God works and you evolve with God, spend time with God, take time to learn him, walk with him, talk with him, and have him teach you, you evolve into a God. All right. That's with the little G. All right. You can only turn to God with the little G if you withstand the pressure from devils, this demonic world, this demonic system, and you stay focused and believe and trust in the Lord. That's the only way. Through pressure, just like a diamond, through gold, just like being refined in the furnace, you can turn into a God. But it has to be you only can turn into a God with your walk with God. If you walk with God, you'll turn into one. If you walk with God, ladies, you'll turn into a goddess. All right, you'll have all the right men that you want coming after you because you're the right woman. You can't not have the right men coming after you if you're not the right woman, ladies. And vice versa, men. You can't have your specific women. You can't have the women you feel you deserve unless you're walking in your purpose and you're doing what God requires you to do. If you do what God requires you to do, you get all your desires met. You thinking you need to work for it. You thinking you need to save for it. You thinking you need to grind for it. Yes, you do. But that work, that saving, that grinding, if you don't incorporate God in that, you're wasting your time. All right, I done had a job since I was 16, y'all. You got to incorporate God with what you do, because if not, you're going to make the wrong decisions and you're not going to make the right decisions. You got to incorporate God with everything you do. All right, I done made some decisions that weren't the best. And I can tell you right now, it's because I didn't incorporate God in what I was doing. When you incorporate God with what you're doing, you'll be aware of the traps. You'll be aware of negativity. You'll be aware of what you're doing wrong, because it's not just everybody else. Sometimes it's what we're doing. All right, when you're doing something and nothing is working and you've been doing it for a while, you got to figure out what's going on. What curses are placed over me? What am I doing wrong? What changes need to be made? What can I do to change myself, to make myself better? All right, but the thing is, they're worried about you because you know these things. You know how to change yourself and make your life better. That's why other people are watching you. They're watching you to see what changes you make on your life, to see if they can make some positive changes on their life. They are worried about you so much that they gaslight you and think you're not smart enough to see it. You can see what they're up to. You can see it as clear as day. When people are following you and they're doing things to try to get you to notice that they're paying attention to you, because that's all it is. They watch you, they follow you to make sure that you know they're paying attention to you. People have been doing this to me all my life, and I let it get the best of me for a very long time. I let it destroy me because I didn't know any better. I let the people who were out to get me, I let Satan, I let my opposition, I let people destroy me. I for the longest time, I thought that the world, the people in it, the things that I had to face, the things that I was up against, I thought they were more powerful than me. And that I could honestly say that's why I'm not where I want to be right now. Because I let the things in the world fool me into thinking that they were more powerful than me. You're up against me, oh, I'm weak, I have to give up. You're up against me, oh, I'm not strong enough, I have to quit and go work someplace else, even though I'm going to go find the same people, the same problem, the same negative energy. You got to overcome and overpower people, and you got to realize your strength in this, because if not, all you're going to do is keep going from place to 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 place until you realize the power within. It doesn't matter where you go, because where you go, there you are. Everybody buy that book right now. Everybody go buy that book right now. Where you are is where you're at. Wherever you go is where you're at. I may not have the title correct, but if you Google that, the book will come up. It's a green book with a little child on the front. Wherever you go is where you're at. Read that book tonight. Buy that book right now. Read it right now. It will change your life. Wherever you go is where you're at. And also buy the book by Pablo Coelho. I believe it's called The Alchemist. The Alchemist by Pablo Coelho. Read that book. All right, I read that. I read that book. I read Wherever You Are, There You. Wherever You're At, There You Are. And I read The Alchemist by Pablo Coelho. All right, read that book. I'm telling you, read those two books. Okay, when you watch my videos, there's gonna be hints. There's gonna be solutions. There's gonna be little tidbits of knowledge, little droplets, little jewels for you to pick up and be like, oh, okay, that's where he learned that from. Okay, that's how he got to that level. And yo, go seek it out for yourself so you can be like me. Or guess what? You could be better than me. I want to watch you. I want to see what you got going on. You're supposed to watch me and be like, okay, I could be better than him. I could do something better than him. That's all he's doing. That's what you're supposed to say. That's all he got going on. Thank you. But I know I could do more than that. I know I could be better than that. God, it's supposed to be a positive competition. You're supposed to see the God in me and be like, I got more God in me than that. Let me positively not compete with you, but let me work on myself to the point where I outdo you in the sense of being greater than who I was yesterday. When you look at me, you're supposed to see me and see change. When you look at me, you're supposed to see me and be like, yo, this man is greater than who he was yesterday. He's not in competition with me. He's doing better than me. He might have surpassed me, but all he's doing is doing better than where he was yesterday. He's not trying to compete with me. He ain't trying to outdo me. He ain't trying to be better than me on a negative tip. Positively, we're supposed to be looking at each other as brothers and sisters and looking at this as positive competition. That's all it is. We're all the same in Christ. We're all the same in Jesus. We're not better than any. We're not better than any. And we're not better than either one of us in Christ. We're better than who we are in Christ. All right. If we want to be perfect, we could be perfect only through Christ. That's it. If you all the people who say I'm not perfect, that's a lie. And I'm gonna tell you why. The only way you can be perfect is through Christ. Christ makes us perfect. So if you say you're not perfect, that you're speaking truth, but you're also not being truthful. You're speaking the truth because I'm not perfect. That's true. But you're perfect through Christ. That's also true. So you're not perfect, but you can be perfect. But the only way you can be perfect is through Christ, through your Christ consciousness. Oh, that Jesus stuff, that's Caesar Borgia, that's this and that, that's that and this. I understand that elevated one mind universal brother, universal one mind elevated sister. I get it. Okay, I get it. You on a higher level. I get it. But guess what? Brothers on a higher level and brothers and sisters on a lower level. Guess where we can meet in the middle? Christ consciousness. Whether you believe in Jesus the person or whether you believe in the Jesus in you, either one, you got to believe in him in your mind. Whether you believe in the Jesus that existed, which really actually existed, or whether you believe in the Jesus in your mind that also actually exists, it's in you either way. Because if you have to believe in something that existed, the only way you could possibly conceive it is here. And if you believe in something that's in you, the only way you could do that is with your mind. So Jesus is in you. Whether you like it or not, whether you accept it or not, whether you think it's idolatry or devil worship or whatever, Jesus is in you. Stop looking for a Jesus outside yourself. Stop looking for somebody to come down out the sky and save you when you got that power that's in you. You got that power. The power that's in you is more powerful than anything that can come out of the sky. The power that is in you is more powerful than anything that could come out of the sky because you have a direct connection to that God. You have, and if anything does come out the sky, you got a direct connection to it, and it's only going to come out of you or come out of your forehead because of Christ consciousness. That's why for April they put purple on the cross, and that's why the crown chakra is purple. Oh, chakras ain't this, chakras ain't that. Okay, well, if it's not, please edify me and teach me. But the last time I checked, the crown chakra is purple and Christ is king and Christ died on the cross and they put a purple satchel on the cross for Christ. Why is there a correlation? Why are there 7 colors in the rainbow and one of the top one is the purple color when the rainbow's now backwards? They got the purple one on top. Now you look at the rainbow, the red is on the top, which is the root chakra, which is all the sex stuff, which is on top. That's why everybody's all sexed out right now in terms of everything. But when the red is on the bottom and the Christ consciousness is on top, that's the actual rainbow. That's the rainbow when you reverse it back to its rightful stage. When the red is on the bottom and the Christ consciousness, the indigo, the purple color is on top. The purple color is supposed to be on top and that red color is supposed to be on the bottom. That's how you know things are backwards. That's how you know today we're living evil. God makes things basic. He makes things simple. It's not no what's the word? It's not no Pythagorean theorem. It's not no deep dialectic, or what's the word I'm looking for? It's not no Albert Einstein theory or scientific equation you got to figure out. God makes things simple. The regular rainbow, purple was on the top. Everything's evil and backwards now. Now you got red on the top. Red on the top, that's the sexual organ. That's the lowest chakra. That's why people are on a low vibration, because they keep pumping out that red light through the TV, through the radio, through the phones. They're pumping out a red light. They are worried about you, so they gaslight you. People go to the store, right, and act like they don't even see you when they walk in the store, but they're in front of you. People go to the store, they act like you're not there, but when you walk to the counter to pay for your stuff, they're first in line. If you don't see me and if you're not worried about me and it's something wrong with me because I think you are, how come you're in front of me every step of the way? How come you're in front of me every step of the way? Somebody is playing a game here and they call you crazy and they say it's something wrong with you when you figure out how the game is played. You're figuring out how the game is played, so now they want to combat you and try to come at your mind science, try to come at your realization, and try to come at your perception and try to twist it. It's like walking outside and seeing how the weather is, and you got somebody with some cameras and the weather, and with somebody with some cameras and a whole weather team because they work for Channel Action 6 News. And just because they work for Channel Action 6 News, you gonna let them tell you something other than what you walk outside and see with your own two eyes. That's like you walking outside and be like, "Whew, man, it's freezing out here. I need to walk inside and get another coat." And you got a man with a camera and an umbrella behind him. It's 72 out here and sunny, and everybody's going to the beach. And you believe him just because he got a camera behind him and because he said it's 72 outside and it's sunny and everybody's going to the beach. You go to the beach and freeze your behind off and die because it's 20 minus below. How it felt when you originally stepped outside. But they have to gaslight your perception because you're the smartest, you're the most aware, you're the most intelligent. They have to gaslight your intelligence and make you feel or make you think that you're not experiencing what you are because you're better and you have the realization, you have the understanding, you have the wherewithal, you have the knowledge, you have the know-how. You are smarter than them, which makes you better than them. They have to put you down. Why do you think these people get into groups and conversations and speak about things that are meaningless and that are vain and that are purposeless and that are worthless? Their conversations are straight crap, poop, doo-doo. Talking about love and hip hop, talking about that Jersey Shore, talking about some show or something they saw online, or basically is always something that has no meaning. It's always something that's low vibrational. That's why you can't agree with them. That's why you can't talk to them. That's why they act like you're not there, because you're on another level. If they see that you're there, they have to acknowledge you as being above them, something that they'll never do. If they acknowledge you, they have to acknowledge the fact that you're above them. When somebody is above them, if they're negative and evil, the only way they're going to see them is by bringing them down. I'll see you if I could take a dump on you. I'll see you and acknowledge you if I could abuse you. I'll see you and acknowledge you if I could be better than you. But if not, I'm going to act like you don't exist because you're better than me, and that hurts my ego to look at you and acknowledge you because I know I can't possibly reach the level that you're on. That's why they're worried about you, because they're constantly in competition and they're constantly trying to defeat somebody that they could never beat. They'll never beat you. They'll never be better than you. They'll never be more educated than you. They'll never be smart than you. I don't care if they got a degree, 2 degrees, a master's, a bachelor's, a house, a car, a mansion, a whole job, business, financial wealth, generational wealth, financial freedom. It don't matter. They're still not better than you. When you get that same knowledge in their mind that they got, you're going to be doing more than that. And that's why people who were ahead of you didn't treat you like a brother or didn't treat you like a sister when all you had was love in your heart, because they knew if they taught you just the littlest bit, you would have took that and you would have soared beyond the clouds. You would have went to a Nebulon 7. You would have went to a Kebulon 6. You would have went to a whole new universe, whole new planetary system on their behind. And that's why they wanted to leave you behind, because they thought if they taught you something, you would have went to a whole new planetary system. You talking about a new world, you talking about a new universe, you in a whole new planetary system. You're way greater than they could even imagine. You're way greater than you could even imagine. And that's why they have to, that's why they act like they don't see you. And that's why they can't acknowledge you, because you're not of this world. You're in it, but you're not of this world. You're like an alien. You're like an alien. You probably got some type of big head or big ears or big nose or big eyes or some type of sixth sense. You got something about you that stands out. Even when you stand out spiritually, it's going to be something about you that stands out physically. That's just the way God makes it. You might have a big old butt. You might have some big old arms. You might have a big old chest. You might be 7'12". You might be skinny as a mini. You might be thick as a brick. Whatever it is, you got super genetics because it's something special about you, and you're supposed to be doing something special. I guarantee you, whatever it is about you that you feel is special is because of God. And you're supposed to be using that, or it's supposed to be making you confident, or it's something about you that's supposed to help God's kingdom in some way. I'm not sure how. I don't have all the answers, but I guarantee it's something about you that's supposed to aid God's kingdom in some type of way. So take all the negativity about it, take all the weirdness about it, take all the backwardness about it, take all the evil about it, and look at yourself as a pure entity, as a pure being. I'm this way because of God. I'm this way because of my purpose. I'm this way because I'm supposed to be drawing people to God in some type of way. I'm supposed to be making people realize that they could be better or greater in some type of way. And that's why people are worried about you so much that they have to gaslight you. Because if they don't gaslight you, you're going to easily be able to pick up on the fact that you're great and you're better than them. And they're not going to be able to take that. They can only take you growing up at a slow rate. They can't take you growing up and blowing up and learning who you are at a fast pace. Because you would leave them behind so quick, they'd hurt themselves. You would leave them behind so quick, they would take themselves out of here, and they can't have that. They want you to suffer as long as you can. They want you to be around for the dirty wave as long as you can. But guess what? You have God in your life, and you're not going to have to suffer much longer. And that's why they're gaslighting you, because you're on a different level. You're headed in a different direction. You're not headed where they're headed. They want to keep you stuck and focused on the life that they're living and the negative energy that they dwell within. They keep a lot of negative energy on them, in them. They keep a lot of negative energy in their life. They focus on negative energy. All the content they consume is negative. And then they want to gaslight you, the positive person that steps out in public, that is being as pure as they possibly can. Nobody's perfect. We ain't said we perfect. All right, we got some negative things about us. We got some things that aren't right. We got some healing, some blessings that still need to take place, but we strive for better. We do our best. Keep our head held high, and we fight as much as we can. We battle as much as we can. We be as great as we can. So that's why God works with us. All right, we'll fall down, but because we turn our eyes towards the Lord, we turn our head towards the Lord, we turn our eyes to the hills whence cometh our help. All right, we put God first. There's going to be mercy for us. We're not working on the side of the devil. God knows we're not perfect. As long as you're not team devil, there's a chance for you. As long as you're not team evil, you got God on your side. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be the most holy. All you have to do is be trying your best, working God's commandments in your life, and upholding them to the best of your ability. That's all you got to do is uphold that man's commandments, uphold God's commandments, uphold what God wants you to do with your life, uphold the laws of the Lord to the best of your ability. You could fall down, you could trip, you could make a mistake, you could not be perfect, but if you are working with those laws, if you understand those laws, if you take pride in God and you're not ashamed of him, if you take pride in the fact that you worship and believe in a God that will never leave you and forsake you, you're going to be all right. You don't have to be perfect. Only these demons and these devils are going to try to make you think that, oh, you're doing this wrong. But they don't read no scripture. They don't believe in God. They don't even believe in themselves. But they want to tell you what you're not doing right. It's gaslighting. All right? They don't think you're smart enough to see what they're up to. They're completely evil, and they think you're not intelligent enough to tell. But you are. You know what they're up to because you can feel what they're up to. Demonic energy has a presence, and you can feel that presence. When they come around you, try to compete with you, try to outdo you, you already know what's up. You already know what type of spirit they're moving in. Okay, I got to stay away from you. I got to stay away from him. I got to stay away from her. He or she is up to no good. They competing with me. Everywhere I step, there they are. They're haunting my footsteps. I can't walk out of a door without them walking in front of me. When people steal your attention without showing you any love, that's hate. When people want you to look at them without paying you any attention or acknowledging you, that's jealousy. Ain't nobody in their right mind that's not evil or jealous going to walk in front of you and ignore you without acknowledging you. It's not godlike. That's the devil. Somebody is controlling that person, and that person is possessed, and that person is possessed by a hater, negative, envious, hater spirit. And that spirit is jealous of you. But you can't let that jealous spirit get to you, destroy you, conquer you, or make you miss out on opportunities. That's all it is. They're jealous spirits that want to make you lose and miss out on what you have. They want to make you lose and miss out on the opportunities that you manifested and obtained because they're jealous and can't do the same. All right, so you have to defeat them with the power of Christ within you. You have to defeat them with the know-how and the knowledge and the power that you're greater than them. You're more powerful than them. You have more knowledge, more information, more wisdom, more understanding than them. All they have is an evil game that they picked up and learned from other narcs. That's all they have. They have some evil rules, some twisted evil rules passed down to them. That's all they have. You have the Spirit of the Lord. You have the Spirit of Christ. You have the Spirit of God. You got the Holy Spirit within you. You got all these things, ancestors, ascended masters, all right, angels. Focus on your power, not what they're able to do. When you're caught up by negative energy and negative people and evil people and devils try to swarm you and make you feel that they're more powerful, when you don't have the know-how or the information or the knowledge, you're going to let them defeat you because you don't know any better. But once you come across videos like this, you're going to awaken to the fact that there's a power in you that's greater than everything outside of you, because greater is He that is in you that's in the world. And what that means is you have something that's more powerful than you, than anything that's coming up against you. You have something more powerful than you, than all these demons, all these vampires, all these energy vampires, all these narcissists. You have something that's greater in you than all of them, and they can only compete. That's why they compete, because what's greater in you is greater than what's in them. That's why they can compete. Everybody wanted to be like Michael Jordan and Michael Jackson, but both of them was better than everybody, so much that they would even do things together. MJ and MJ, the two greatest MJs ever to walk this earth, besides Moses and Jesus. Tell me I'm lying. Throw Madam CJ Walker in there if you will. All right? But tell me what I'm saying is not the truth, all right? You have to pay attention to the God in you and ignore the devil in them. That's the game. The devil wants you to think that they're big and bad, so you forget God and pay attention and put your focus on his demons. That's it. The devil could come as whatever you're afraid of, just to distract you and confuse you and get your mind off God. And that's why they're worried about you, because they know that as soon as you focus on God, they're destroyed. They know that the second you realize your true power, they're destroyed. They have to try to get in your head. They have to try to keep stealing your energy. They have to try to keep stealing your focus. They have to try to keep making you inferior or feel insecure, because without even trying, that's the normal state and the normal mindset you place them in. Every time you come around, insecurity for them. Every time you come around, inferiority for them. Every time you come around, self-hate for them. You make them feel this automatically. And that's why they have that hate towards you. That's why they give you those narcissistic stares and glares, because you automatically, without even trying, make them hate who they are, because they didn't create who they are. They didn't choose to make who they are. They chose to be jealous and hate you and other people like you because they didn't choose to work on themselves. They could have chose to think a positive idea, but they chose to think a negative one. People have choices. There were demons around them. There were devilish, demonic people around them, devilish, demonic spirits around them, and they were influenced by the negative instead of choosing the positive. They had that voice, that same voice that you had, but they didn't choose to listen to that voice. They chose to listen to their friends instead of the voice of the Lord. They instead of that positive voice that was in them, they didn't choose to listen to that. All right, they're going to have to learn that a lot later, or they may even have to come back and learn that the next lifetime. Or they may go up and then come right back down. They may be, because like if you don't follow your purpose, if you don't pick up God's calling in your life, you get reincarnated. Everybody has something that they're supposed to do. Everyone has something that they're supposed to be. When you don't do that or be that, you miss out on the calling on your life, and you keep coming back here to this earth until you do. Plain and simple. So that's why they're worried about you. That's why so many spirits, empty, broken, hurt, haters. That's why everybody's focused on you, is because this time around, you're focused on what you're supposed to be focused on. This time around, you're not playing no games. This time around, you're aware, you're awake, you know who you are, what you're supposed to be doing, and who you serve, and what purpose has been placed on your life, and the calling that you're supposed to be answering, which is God's calling on your life. So find something positive to do for the Lord. Find something great to do for the Lord, and He will bless you universally. Come on, man. It's not that simple. You find something good to do that praises God, that shows people that God is real, and He's going to bless you for it. It's simple, man. It's simple. Read your Bible, read your scriptures, believe in something positive, believe in yourself, believe in the God in you, that you can do anything, be anything, and have anything. And people are going to be trying to stop you. People are going to be focused on what you're up to. People are going to be gaslighting you because they're so worried about you that they have to act like you don't exist. They're so worried about you. They're following you and watching you, and they're so concerned with what you're doing that when they get close to you, they got to put on a fake front to try and get what they want. They think that because you're a nice person or you're an empath, you're going to acknowledge them and pay attention to them just because they're there. They don't think that you are aware that they were watching you the whole time and they're trying to steal your energy. When people try to steal your energy, this is what they do. They already know who you are. They're already aware of you. They already been watching you for a long ass time. And because they know who you are and they don't want you to know who you are, they put themselves in a position to steal energy from you, because if somebody's watching you for 20 minutes and acting like you're not there, they were supposed to acknowledge you. It's not you seeing them for the first minute in the first 25 minutes that they were watching you for you to acknowledge them. That's a thief. That's a vampire. That's somebody trying to steal your light. And that's why they're worried about you so much that they gaslight you and they think you're not smart enough to see what they're up to. I'd like to thank everybody for watching this video. Shout out to the chosen vessels. Hit that like button, hit that share button, and don't forget to subscribe for more in tune, in-depth, spiritual, powerful, motivational videos like this. I'll see you all in the next video. Shout out to the chosen vessels. Shout out to Druull. Salute to Druull Nation. Hit that like button, hit that share button. Don't forget to subscribe. Peace, love, and light. Druull out.